Nights ago in New York, I was having dinner with a friend of mine, and he was introducing me to a friend of his, a gentleman named Dr. Joseph O'Neill. And Dr. O'Neill was responsible for something called PEPFAR, which I had never heard of before, but was or is a $65 billion global health initiative to fight AIDS in Africa. And in fact, it's the largest global health initiative in the history of humankind. And my friend asked him, what creates a social movement? What does a social movement have to be successful? And he thought about it, and his answer really inspired me. He said, well, the first thing you need is hope. You need to actually believe that you can change something, you can accomplish something. Then you need competency, then you need drive. And he started telling his story. And specifically, he was a medical resident at UCSF in the early mid-'80s. And all of a sudden, his friends were becoming his patient. And it's a story we know and a story we've heard. And I was struck at that moment, though, because he was talking about the fact that people were telling him and his friends that you couldn't fight AIDS. You couldn't contain it. You couldn't fight AIDS in San Francisco. He and his friends, as you know, fought AIDS in San Francisco, contained it, fought it back. Then he moved to Baltimore and was a doctor in Baltimore, and was told by the realists out there that are just trying to help, well, San Francisco was an anomaly. You can't fight AIDS in Baltimore. And they fought AIDS in Baltimore. And then as he progressed and his career evolved, and he was working with people in terms of fighting AIDS in Africa, he was told, and the people that were the believers were told, that you couldn't actually have antiviral drug protocols work in Africa, specifically Botswana, because Africans didn't wear watches, and so that there would be no way that they could follow the very complex protocols that were needed to really make antiviral drugs work. Today, there are higher rates of compliance in Botswana for antiviral drugs than there is here in the United States.